So we've
So,
just finished Eid. Ramadan is over. A lot of people will have been used to a different kind of a diet. Do you think Ramadan or fasting generally gets you to rethink the way you eat?
yes,
How?
I think it's different for most people. For me, it gets me thinking of why I eat.
Or why you eat?
Yeah, I go
Okay.
right down to the basics. I
Okay.
question everything,
So what are your findings? Why do you eat?
mostly because I get hungry and grumpy. No, but the thing is, one thing that Ramadan has really taught me is how much we actually need to eat, or how much we don't need to eat.
Right.
Um, I mean, yourself, have you gone back to 3, 4 meals in the day?
You know what? I'm still in that phase where I'm transitioning between fasting and not fasting. I still feel guilty picking up a glass of water.
Yes.
Even when I'm doing wuzu and I'm gargling my
You need to be
mouth,
careful, yeah.
I'm careful that I can't get anything past my throat. So I'm in that transition. And if anything, you know what? This year has been completely different for me.
For everyone, I think.
But not because of circumstances, but more because of what I've been doing or not doing this month or this year. Last year I was very active, although this year I've been more active in a different way. I've been cycling a lot more. We were just discussing that, so I've been doing 10 miles almost every day. But last year I was doing a lot of building work. I was doing plastering, plumbing, rebuilt the whole kitchen from the inside, and it was more physically demanding. I kind of missed it this year, although I was doing some work with the bathroom. This year was the bathroom project, but it's still not complete, and it's half the size, in fact, quarter of the size of the kitchen. It's been different. But when it comes to eating, I've noticed our minds are a lot stronger than we often think we are.
Yeah.
Like my kids, even, it's not compulsory for them to fast, right? But out of the sheer curiosity and enjoyment of the whole atmosphere around fasting, even they were fasting like 10 and 11-year-olds. They fasted the whole month. And
Wow. Okay.
that surprised me, especially my 8-year-old, because he's a tank. Right?
Oh,
He's the mashallah,
he likes his food.
I can't even say it's even that, because it's not just the food. For him, I think it's just puppy fat, because he doesn't eat that much.
Okay.
And he's always bouncing around, literally and not literally. but even he was fasting, but he sometimes gets cravings, right? And he can't control himself. For him, is when he has that urge to eat,
Mhm.
he has to eat. But even then, he was able to fast around 15 odd days. Even my 6-year-old tried it. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This year for me, it's been a bit different. I'm transitioning still between not eating or fasting and
But I
not
think
fasting.
food in itself is something that, okay, look, there's the basics. You eat because you're hungry, because you need energy, get yourself through the day, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's become a lot more than that.
Of course it is, but I can't understand it. Seriously, I know you're a foodie. We're both in the foodies group.
Wow.
But you say that like
I want to brag or anything.
yeah, yeah. But for me, food is fuel in most situations. Here's when I have the exception. Everyone knows I have a sweet tooth. You can give me as many sweets as you want, like sweet stuff, like certain things, and I can just keep going, even though I know it's not good for me, but I can keep going.
Mm.
But when it comes to generally food, here's what I mean. Here's how do you define a foodie, for example, right? For me, a foodie is somebody who would travel to a different city just to try a different cuisine.
A taste.
Yeah. I don't do that generally.
Okay. So what's food for you then? Is it just fuel? For the most part.
Most part, yeah.
Cravings?
Only for sweet stuff, and that's sometimes, not very often.
Wow. Okay. This is a revelation.
There's not much that I'm not particular about the food that I eat. Like in terms of, I'm not to say that I'll eat anything and everything, but what I'm saying is whatever's cooked at home, I'll eat it. Okay. I don't have any preferences to say today I feel like eating this or today I feel like eating that. I do have certain foods which I think taste are more to my liking than others. I love sag, right?
Okay.
I love dal, like, these vegetarian dishes. There are certain things that I just can't eat, things like parathe, right? It makes me
Whoa,
feel
whoa, whoa, whoa,
sickly.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I
Back
used
up a
to.
bit.
Yeah.
You won't eat parathe.
Maybe I'll have a couple of kind of,
So
uh,
where does the sag fit in then?
well, usually the sag fits in between the roti. So,
Nah,
it's
nah, nah,
without,
nah,
I know
nah.
it's
Don't.
not,
Come on. You can't be saying things like that.
it's just the way I am. But
Okay.
I used to be able
Wow.
to, but I can't anymore.
Okay. Do the Burton foodies know about this?
Well, Yasser says we are eating and consuming everything around us: time, work, money, fuel, personalities, etc. Oh, okay, that's deep. I don't know if Burton foodies know about my preferences or non-preferences for food. But hey, for me, if a group of friends, like-minded individuals, like we are in the Burton foodies group, we decide to go for food, yeah, I'll go, because yeah, I don't mind tasting different cuisines, and as for me, it's about the company as well as it's a whole experience, not just for the food. Um, so from my
So a bad meal
Mhm.
with friends wouldn't ruin it for you.
No.
Wow. I don't think I'd want to talk to them on the way back. If I've not eaten or not eaten well, I'm a grumpy git.
I wonder how many people feel like that. I wonder how many people would feel like a bad meal would ruin their mood,
Ruin their mood.
because it wouldn't to me.
I would imagine quite a lot. Have you ever? Okay, so you won't understand this, but foodies will get this, right? Sometimes you can eat a meal,
Hmm.
it's not to your liking, it's lacking flavor,
Hmm.
the salt, pepper, whatever.
Hmm.
You've eaten,
Hmm.
but you're still hungry, that you've not been satisfied.
Hmm.
Do you get it? So you'd eat a bowl of porridge
Hmm.
or like a bland meal, say boiled chicken.
Hmm.
Now, we all know that's a lot of protein.
Hmm.
Yeah, boiled chicken, steamed chicken, whatever. That's plentiful for your body to last however many hours, even a day.
Hmm.
But for me, if that food is so bland, I'll want to walk over to the fridge and pick something else up. I have to.
Hmm.
I could go. I sometimes see these kind of a la carte menus, restaurants, and thinking, I mean, I'd eat that, but then I'd go for a kebab afterwards. Do you ever watch these cooking shows and they have like one piece of tiny fish or just a little broccoli or a string bean?
Yeah,
Just because you put some kind of decorative.
yeah, that, I mean, there are people who are chefs and really kind of, they
Yeah.
know how to decorate food.
Yes.
They know they're like food connoisseurs, they're food stylists. They know how to really make food look good, which is fine. You can make something look good and you can make something taste good. But if it doesn't fill the stomach, what's the point? That's
Yeah.
my thinking.
Yes.
But
Okay.
maybe I'm
So
not posh enough. Maybe it's only a posh person's thing, where you go to a fancy restaurant, pay through your nose. Like that ice cream with gold plating thing on, or
yes,
flakes or
99
something on it.
pound lake.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. The fancier the restaurant, the smaller the portions. Or the more expensive the dish, the smaller the portions. We go predominantly as a family, as a group of lads, whatever. We'll go to a lot of what's the word? I don't want to say backstreet, but common
Cost
eateries.
effective eateries.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
karai houses or
Yeah.
your kind of kebab joints, burger joints, these kind of places. You get your full. But the fancier you go, even in the same kind of cuisine. So
Yeah.
if you go to like we go to a lot of Indian restaurants or Pakistani restaurants, we'll get a very authentic type karai.
Mm.
They'll say, okay, do you want it 1 kilo, 2 kilos, whatever? Yeah,
Mm.
that's a good meal for us. But if you start going to fancy Indian restaurants,
Mm.
do you remember the place that we went to? Obviously, I can't name it,
Of
but
course.
I
Yeah.
think we were able to count the pieces of chicken, and there was 4 in there,
Mm.
and that
Yeah.
was in a
Well,
seven,
you're
8 pound.
talking value for money now, aren't you?
Yeah, value for money, quality, quantity, everything. I don't
It makes no
see.
difference to me, mate. If let me ask you a question: if you went to someone's house and their cooking wasn't to your liking, would you actually tell them?
Me.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm not the majority in that sense. I'm not the most kind of politically correct person when it comes to that. But yeah, I'd tell them.
You tell them.
Yeah, maybe not in.
Isn't that bad etiquette though?
It is. Like, for example, I have this habit where if I don't like a certain food, I won't say I don't like it. I'll ask who made it.
Okay.
However, the
That's
second I eat something, face is blank, expressionless, and I'm like, who made this? They're like,
okay.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I have a cousin who's always who he feels the need to make a comment.
Okay.
Even if it's positive, it's positive. If it's not, he'll just say it. He'll say namak katte, loon katte, whatever. He'll make a comment.
But see, I don't like that pressure. Have you noticed when whoever does the cooking, I was gonna say the wife or whatever, but not necessarily. It's 2020, we switch things up. So whoever does the cooking will generally wait for some kind of feedback. I don't like that pressure. I don't like being asked.
What do they
like
I mean,
it or
if you're in
not.
the same household, surely you're past that stage where you're wanting feedback.
I don't think we ever get past that stage.
We have.
Do you?
Yeah. Maybe that's because of me generally being the person who doesn't. If it's something nice and is or different, I will definitely always make a comment to say, "Wow, this tastes really nice. This is really good." But most of the times, I don't make any comments because I'm not fussed. I'm easily pleased. Let's just say, I'm not particular. I have a nephew who will travel down halfway across the country or up north just to try a different cuisine that he's heard about.
Yeah.
I remember telling you about this certain place in London where we had steaks with my nephews in London.
Yes.
You actually went down, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm that person.
I couldn't do that. I could not travel just for food. I will travel with people together for, as a place, as a venue. Yeah, you can say, okay, we can travel a couple of, different cities to have food together. But the more important thing for me in the hierarchy is the company and the discussions that we have.
Yeah.
Even if the food doesn't end up being that nice, I would be okay, slightly maybe disappointed that it wasn't that nice, but it wouldn't have an effect on my mood.
Okay.
It wouldn't piss me off.
So when you eat a bad meal, not a bad meal, something not so much to your liking, you've eaten, you're done. You're content, you're happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Because we don't look so much at how many calories we need per day.
True.
We don't look at our intake compared to what we're burning.
Yeah.
Most of us don't. Obviously, there's the very kind of conscious people who know this stuff, and we should know this stuff. I mean, when we fuel our car, we always keep an eye on the gauge.
Yeah.
You want it to be sort of full.
Yeah.
You can't overfill it because it's it's not good.
Yeah.
But we're less kind of careful when it comes to ourselves. I mean, me first and foremost. I can't be full unless I'm eating something that I enjoy. And this is why I'm kind of careful in what I eat. I eat everything, but I have to kind of enjoy it. Otherwise, I'll just have to eat again.
Just because you don't enjoy, even if you might be full.
Even if I'm full, if I'm eating a meal,
you will want a certain taste, like to leave. You want certain aftertaste, right?
Yes.
Okay, I get that. I get it.
Yeah.
If I have a bad meal or something that doesn't taste quite right, even if it's a small bite, I will just have a small bite of something just to change the flavoring or the taste in my mouth as an aftertaste.
Yeah.
But I won't go have another meal just to change all that. Abid says you eat to live. Living to eat could be dangerous.
Yes. I would say
become a nation of obesity.
The majority are living to eat. They enjoy their meals. I think those people that see.
Well, is it the majority, or is that your perception of the majority? I'd be interested to know if it is a majority thinking.
So what percentage of people are foodies that enjoy their food, that look forward to a meal?
Well, it's not just that. It's not as simple as that. Even people who don't consider themselves as foodies would look forward to enjoying a meal. look, there are certain times where I would expect a decent meal, right? For example, if I go to an event, well, obviously nowadays we don't go to any events, but if I'm going to an event, like a networking event, and I'm having to pay a certain amount, yeah, depending on how much I pay, my standard of the net quality of the people in the room or the speaker or the food is all going to be relative, isn't it, to how much my outgoing is. So then I would expect something there. But if, for example, let's just say I'm going to a wedding, most Asian weddings, obviously, it's like either a buffet or someone will come and drop the food off to your table, right? Then if it's like a family table and you're just amongst your own family, then these are mass gatherings, and unless it's really, really bad, I probably won't even say anything, even if it wasn't cooked. So even if it wasn't to my liking,
Yeah.
that's the kind of person I am.
Okay. I don't know if this is specific to Asian weddings. I think it's probably all weddings.
Yeah, go on.
Food is one of the things that are most talked about in days or weeks to come. Nobody talks about, well, from what I know, I don't know what it is like on the women's side and the other stuff, but nobody talks about what anyone was wearing. A little bit, the venue will get a mention.
Yeah.
But the menu is always talked about.
Okay.
From my finding, anyway.
The venue is always talked about.
The venue will get a mention.
Okay.
But the menu
gets talked about.
Yeah, it's one of those things you remember, isn't it?
For the foodies, yeah, I would more, for me personally, I would probably be more intrigued about the venue if it's different or not the kind of normal venues that I go to than the menu itself.
Okay.
Because for me, that's a part of the whole experience. But the question Abid's asking, why do people eat excessively at weddings? Is it because they're paid in the Nandra? Is that what it is?
Well, no, it's true. It is.
It's like buffets, right? You pay a certain amount.
You gotta get your money's worth.
You have to get your money's worth. And is that the same case with weddings as well?
It's a strange one. You know what? I generally don't eat much at weddings, or if I do, it's at the end when we're kind of helping clear up or whatever. Yeah, we'll have a bit. But to dress in your best clothes with your shirt tucked in and everything else going on, and then to overindulge
until the button pops.
Yeah, it's just not comfortable. It doesn't look comfortable, does it? But yeah, weddings, I reckon the food at weddings is great. It's fantastic.
Well, one of the suggestions from Fiaz is that people should learn to cook. Talking about you can only truly appreciate food when you've made it with your own hands. And he's offered to make me dal when he next sees me. So I'm actually looking forward to dal. I love dal. I love dal. I don't know why people don't like dal. Some people just think that if they've got meat there, there's a hierarchy of kind of foods to serve.
Yes.
I suppose that comes from our background and how people have evolved throughout the ages. It's a cultural thing, right? People want the nandras worth, don't they? As Zaf says,
there's a multitude of things
when it comes to other food.
Yeah.
So there's the question for me then: is what is the thinking behind wanting to eat more, even when you've had something to eat? If we've had a meal, you've had a meal. Let's just say you've had a meal at home before coming to the studio, and afterwards there's a new joint open, just to try the food. Would you go? Yes. Even though you've eaten?
Oh, definitely.
Right, proper meal. Like even if it's a burger.
Is a burger a proper meal? I could have a burger after a meal.
Mate, I know people who can have 2 burgers at a time. I don't know how it's possible. How do people eat a lot? Is it the fact that there's like they build on their appetite through practice? Does the gut expand? How does that work? I mean, by my appearance, I don't look like that. I'm not a foodie, but I'm not. Some things I just can't comprehend. I just don't understand.
So for you, food is just fuel. You've got to have a certain amount of calorie intake, and you're okay.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's
there's
not
no
just
cravings up in here, or no tastes that you're kind of.
No, I mean, if I'm full, I'm full. If somebody, let's just say I've eaten at home, I've come here and there's some lads and we're having a good chit chat, and someone's brought some food in and said, "Matt, try this." I might take a bite just to try it. But I'm if there's a new joint open and someone says, "Come on, let's go for another meal, let's try this new joint," I won't be inclined to do that. It's just not me.
Okay. Wow. Wait till the foodies hear about this, man. This is goss.
Okay, you make it sound like something really really bad.
No, it's not. It's not blasphemous, but I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that.
Mate, there are people. Zaf says he knows people who would order chicken steak and meat steak 2 meals, and they could eat it. I can't understand that. I don't know how people would do that.
Okay. I don't want to come across as a complete fatty. So I'll be honest. I tell you what I can't do is I can't have a 4-course meal. Majority of the time, I'll go straight in for the mains, like buffets.
Okay.
If I go to a buffet, starters, straight to desserts. I'm done that quick. Like, I enjoy food, I like food, but the quantities that I can eat are nowhere near to what I could consume maybe sort of 10, 15 years ago. Metabolism was different, hunger was different, the whole game has changed since then. I don't think it's conscious. It's not me thinking I'm going to eat less, or it's not me knowing I need this many calories.
Well, how many people actually think of calories? Even foodies. I mean, I'm assuming there'll be people who can eat and they'll eat loads, but they're conscious of their calories. I don't know. I mean, how many people are conscious of their calories? I would suspect it's a minority.
There's a lot of apps, isn't there?
But how many people would use those apps? Unless if you're working for a competition, maybe if you're trying to lose weight and you're on some kind of a regime, then yeah, you probably want to count them. The average person who's not maybe taking part in any kind of anything physical or wanting to look good for a wedding, or there's no event coming up for which reason.
Everyday life. So
everyday life.
Not part of a diet, not part of anything.
Yeah,
I don't think there'll be that many people that do that. Most people eat what they want to eat, and they kind of keep it in moderation, and they're happy with that, and it works. It works well for most people.
Well, Zaf says healthy people are calorie conscious, and the rest eat what comes.
Are they though?
I'm not sure.
I don't think the two things correlate. I know a lot of people who just have a fantastic metabolism. And to someone who doesn't know them would think they're healthy or they eat better. It's not always the case.
True. One second. You know what? I'm gonna invite somebody in who was gonna be here. But for some reason they couldn't have joined in. Let me see if we can get Nitisha in, because I've sent her the link. For some reason it's not coming up. So the question for the viewers or the listeners is, if we were forced to be in a situation where we were almost like fasting, how would they
see voluntary fasting? Well, I suppose it's all voluntary, but voluntary fasting outside of Ramadan, I just find so much more difficult. It's not something that I cope well with. The Huel diet. Have you heard of Huel?
I've heard it. Well, what is it?
It basically, they're saying it's human fuel, hence the name Huel. It's a meal in a drink.
Okay.
Basically, like protein shakes and supplement drinks and stuff like that. You get a couple of heaped tablespoons, put it into water, and apparently that is the perfect meal that gives you your energy, your carbs, your kilojoules, your everything else. It's all worked out and calculated for you. The problem with that is you don't feel like you've eaten. So
here's somebody we managed to get her in. This is somebody who's a chef, who's a food stylist. She's an author. some of her products are probably sitting in our kitchen cupboards right now, and we
Okay.
probably didn't even know about it. So I want to welcome Nitisha Patel. Nitisha, can you hear us? Are you there? I think the connection is quite weak. Are you there?
Hello. I can, yes.
Right.
Finally,
There
I'm
we
in.
go. Finally, yes. For some reason, it wasn't connecting,
Can
but
you
you're
see
here
me?
now. So thanks for joining us. Nitisha, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit for those people who've never come across you before.
That's okay. Okay, so I'm a chef from Wolverhampton. Worked in the hospitality industry. I've worked in hotels and restaurants, and I realised quite soon in my career that that life wasn't for me. So then I became a product development chef, and through my journey, I've developed products for all of the UK supermarkets. 5 years in, I realised that life's not for me, a bit too corporate. So now I run my own food consultancy business, and I work with companies up and down the UK, and I consult them on new recipes, new menus, and new products. And on the side of doing that, I've also written 2 cookery books as well, which are available globally.
Wow, brilliant. Nitisha, what are your thoughts on this particular topic, living to eat and eating to? Now, you've actually already put a comment in to say a diet is much more than what we eat. It's what we consume as a whole, including our mindset. Education is key. Now, from somebody like you who is in the field, how would you advise the average person like us thinks about food or views food? I mean, because I was talking to you earlier on, and you were already baking a cake, so you're always in the food industry and around food and trying new things and different things. How do you advise somebody to view food, or how should food be viewed? Sorry.
Eating to live has always had the association that it's all about having a strict diet, about being regimented. Actually, that might, it may not be as strict and regimented. Like I put in my comment, it's about education and mindset and knowing what it doesn't you're eating salad constantly and that's all you can eat, just boiled vegetables. There is so much you can do with simple ingredients and simple cooking processes, and you can get some beautiful results from the most simple of ingredients. It's about education and knowing what to do with food and how to make food work for you. And then on the flip side, like living to eat. So people think living to eat is overindulgent. It's about having a food addiction, about mindless eating. But again, we need to think about when our brain says to us, "You're hungry, go and eat." Why is our brain telling us to go and eat? Are we bored? Or have we just seen an advert on the TV for chocolate and now we're craving chocolate? We need to come back to the core of why do we eat? For me, obviously being a chef, I love food. Food is my whole life. And maybe I overindulge and I eat more than I should. But, I do love food, but I know what to eat and I know how to eat well. Diet, because I believe me, I struggle with diets, but it's about having a balanced diet. I love my meat and I love my fish and my seafood. I also love vegetables, and I could quite easily, because I know, without blowing my own trumpet, I know how to treat vegetables with the respect that they deserve. Whether you boil a cauliflower or you roast a cauliflower, you're going to get 2 totally different textures. So it's about knowing what to do with your ingredients, I think.
Excellent. Those are really, really good points, actually, because sometimes we end up eating because we've seen something on TV or we've seen an advert or something, or something looks really salivating and really tasty, and you just want to taste it in your mouth.
And I think Nitisha makes a very good point about why we eat, because a lot of the time we know we're not hungry. We can't be hungry. We've just eaten prior to that or whatever. So what is our brain actually telling us? That's a good point, actually. Nitisha, those that eat who know they're not hungry, would you say it's boredom, or is it just some kind of subconscious, maybe advertising or marketing ploy going on in the background? that their brain is buying into.
Yeah.
So Nitisha, from your side, I know because we had some connection problems, and there's still some. I can still
Yeah.
feel some lagging going
I
on
mean,
right now. But from if you want to elaborate on that, and let us know a little bit more about the kind of products that you have, which are available for us to maybe try something different.
There's a slight lag.
yeah, sure. So it sounds really silly, but I actually worked with ready meal manufacturers. So I developed ready meals for 4 years. And before I did that, I was a complete snob. I would not eat ready meals. Easy to see what goes into producing ready meals. There's loads of government guidelines about the salt and fat content. And some ready meals, like the top tier premium tier, are amazing. Like they're on par with restaurants. Some of the recipes are actually really, really good. So we've had to put in so much work to make ready meals up to restaurant level, and we do food trends. We go out and see what's selling well. We see what the market's cap. So if you go into a Tesco store, again, not blowing my own trumpet, but if you go into a Tesco store in the ready meal aisle, my picture's still there. So I worked well with Tesco, developed their Indian ready meals. All of the UK supermarkets have done some innovation work with large brands. And then I do have 2 cookery books as well. So my first cookery book, mine is more about products and dishes, more like dinner party treats. And that's the food I love to eat. That was my first cookbook about dal, which sounds silly, but there's 55 recipes just on dal. And
Wow,
it's a
I
completely
love that.
vegan and vegetarian book. But I have done pancakes from dal, I've done desserts, I've done waffles, I've done burgers. Like, it's so versatile. People think when you cook dal, you can only make a soup or a tadka dal, but you can't. If you look at the texture of dal, it's similar to a flour almost. Like, it's got that doughy texture. So I thought, well, hang on, if you can make pancakes and waffles from a flour batter, why can't you do that with the lentil flour? So the Delicious Book of Dal is a great book if you're interested in dal and you're looking for a vegan diet. Is in there.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I know you had to shoot off at 6:30, and we managed to get you in slightly late. But if you can pop back in, let us know. I would want to actually speak more to you about the kind of food people have as an alternative to what they think they have. I mean, you mentioned the different ways that dal can be made and it can be consumed or eaten and actually enjoyed. And you have a whole book on that. So yeah, Nitisha, first of all, thanks very much for joining us. And I know the actual signal is still a bit laggy and it's still a bit weak, and we can't hear you properly either for some reason. If you can pop back in, that's excellent. If you can't, maybe we can have you back on another show.
Yeah, let's do that. I will try. I'm actually making a cake that's quick. I need to go and do some cricket bats, balls, and stumps out of fondant icing. So I need to shoot
She
off, I'm
mentioned
afraid.
that.
But
She
yeah,
mentioned
let's
my
do another
weakness.
show.
Weakness is
Let's
what she
catch up
mentioned
on this.
cake. Yeah, definitely, Nitisha. I'll give you a call later on and we'll arrange. Yeah, you take care.
Sounds
Bye-bye.
good. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that was Nitisha. Nitisha's food already is in supermarkets. She used to make food for Kerry Foods. We've got Kerry Foods here in Burton-on-Trent, and her recipes were prepared there as well.
On dal.
A book just on dal, yeah.
Wow.
Can you imagine how many recipes? She did, 50 odd recipes just on dal?
55, yeah.
Yeah.
How many types of dal are there? There's quite a few.
There are loads of types of dal.
Okay.
Loads of types of dal. Well, some people, Anne says eating is an emotional thing. People who eat too much often have underlying problems and comfort eat.
Yes.
And yeah, go on.
See, one thing that we don't understand is our brain often knows a lot of things that we don't. But sometimes the way that it interprets that to us or gets that signal to us is us not actually picking it up. I agree with that comment.
Yeah.
When people are sulking or when people are in a certain mood, they'll overeat.
Yeah.
They'll look to junk foods mostly, so sugars, and I've been known to go through a tub of Ben and Jerry's in one sitting. Not that you ever feel great afterwards, having done it, but the next time I'm feeling a bit down, I'll probably do the same thing again. So it is our brain trying to tell us something, but how we pick up that.
Would you sorry to cut you short, would you, if you're in an environment when you've got people around you, there's not enough conversation, will you fill the gaps with food?
For me, I fill the gaps with the conversation. It's the food first. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
You'll fill the gap. So you're there for the
Give me a minute,
food.
there we go.
Okay.
Do you know what it is? Have you ever heard of people eating brick or concrete?
Yeah,
or,
I heard about that.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
the charcoal bits off the tawa. And things
Especially
like this.
when women are pregnant, they have certain cravings and they want to eat things like sand or whatever. You know, really weird stuff. Yeah. Go
Quite
on.
strange,
Are you
but
going to try
I'm
and
sure
explain that?
Well, I can't explain it, but I'm sure there is an explanation because, again, that's our brain trying to get a message across.
Can
to
anyone
us.
explain that? Like, you have a craving for brick or sand or whatever. You know, mate, I tell you what, it's funny. It's funny when you might find it funny, and it's a bit odd, but I actually have sympathetic pregnancy symptoms. So what that means is, if my wife is pregnant, and it's the thing, honestly, the thing, I actually feel sometimes like the morning sickness thing. I actually feel it, and I actually get cravings. It's weird. It's happened to me on most of her pregnancies. It's really odd.
I'm sorry. What do you call this? What do you
sympathetic pregnancy symptoms?
Okay, so this is where your partner's pregnant,
and you also feel the symptoms of craving food and stuff like that, and you know, some odd. It's really bizarre. I know. I
don't think they're pregnancy symptoms, right? I think that's just you being hungry.
it could be my. Cheers.
Wow,
No,
it's
honestly,
nice to put a name to it though, as if it's some kind of condition. Oh, no, these are symptoms.
Dude,
I just need this cheeseburger with
Google it. Honestly,
jelly and peanut butter.
Honestly, craving a sweet retreat. Kinder,
but not for yourself though, because of the symptoms.
It's obviously the symptoms.
Yeah,
it's always the symptoms.
No, it's science. Yeah,
and there are after pregnancy symptoms as well. I guess
you don't get cramps or anything those days.
No, unfortunately, I don't get them. Fortunately, I don't get any of the other symptoms. But I guess
for me, actually,
honestly, I found it really bizarre myself, and I couldn't understand it. And it turned out that that's it happens.
It turned out that's a thing.
It's a thing.
As in, there's other people that.
Yeah. It's a thing, and it happens to people.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing funny about that.
Do I crave the same food as my wife? Sometimes, yeah. During those,
So if she has like a
craving for certain drinks like Miranda.
Craving. Like, what's with craving something you've never had? How does that happen?
Say that again.
How do we crave something that we've never actually eaten?
Well, I don't think you can. Oh, actually, well, that proves it, doesn't it? When you crave, you must have had some kind of a taste of it in some way. Maybe you fell on the floor as a kid and you licked some brick somewhere, and you thought, oh yeah, I'm having that craving for a brick. 20 years later, when your wife's pregnant, I want to lick a brick.
Going on, isn't it?
Huh?
I don't know if it's specific to pregnancy cravings, but there's some strange combination cravings that come up from time to time.
Stanislava has pregnancy symptoms cravings for figs. Have you eaten fig? Have you ever eaten fig?
I've had fig rolls, biscuits.
Okay,
does that count?
Same thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's fig in there.
I quite enjoy those actually. I didn't when I was younger, but now I can appreciate a good fig roll.
Like ginger biscuits and stuff. Some people either love them or they hate them.
Yeah, it's the combination that I don't understand. It's wanting to mix two things or three things, which
like you just sweet rice and
nah, don't go there. Don't go there. Sweet rice and savory rice are the way forward. And if you haven't done it,
but it's a combination which you like. Other people might not. What are the combinations which like make people cringe and others love them? I've known people having sweet rice with something else like yogurt in sweet rice.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yogurt with sweet rice.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that's legit.
Do you have if you had toast with fried egg and beans, right? Would you put jam on the toast?
So jam on the toast with
With a
beans and fried eggs.
Yeah.
No, no,
It's the
don't tell
norm
me.
in my house.
Wow,
It's the norm. Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? It's an odd combo, but it's the norm.
but it works.
But it works for us, yeah. It might not work for everyone, but it works.
See, I thought having toast with jam and margarine was pushing the boat out.
No, that's the norm.
Okay. There's one or the other, isn't it? But I find
I
they
don't
both
know.
work together quite well.
Yeah, we always have. Well, it used to be margarine, but it's butter
Yeah.
because of the thought behind is margarine even healthier?
Yeah, fit for human consumption.
Sweet rice and pilau rice with yogurt.
Oh wait, yogurt.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Mixing the two rices, I agree with all day long. In fact, sweet rice with a bit of curry, you know, bit of lamb, bit of whatever curry sauce in there. I think that works. Yogurt, I don't know. I'll have to go back and try that. Are we talking the Reiter type yogurt with tomatoes, cucumbers?
It was a
onions, all that
suggestion
chopped
by
up in there?
Inaya. So
Okay.
Sarah says sometimes the pressure of being thin in sweet marks can result in overeating or even undereating, right? It becomes a love-hate relationship with food. You hold off so much, then binge. It's a constant battle and a vicious cycle, and food isn't then seen as something we need to live. Okay. Do you think that's external pressures? Do you think it's because we think about what other people might think about us if we're of a certain body type? Do you think, look, we have obviously a problem with some people have health problems?
I mean, you've heard the term comfort food.
Yeah.
What is comfort food? Is it actually making us feel any better for longer than the duration of eating it? Do you see what I mean?
Or is it something that we feel makes us, it's something we enjoy, and if we're going through troublesome times, we want something to enjoy?
Yeah, so hence the term comfort food.
Yeah.
But we know, even while we're doing it, it's not good for us. It's not right. In fact, it's detrimental to what's making us feel like that in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think people who overeat or overindulge, it's usually more so what they're eating rather than quantities.
Yeah.
For most people.
Yeah.
I think if you eat well, you'd struggle to really become overweight or unhealthy. I mean, you'd have to eat a considerable amount of veg or health foods in order to be unhealthy. So
wait, you said you'd need to eat a considerable amount of fruit and veg in order to become unhealthy?
Yes. So it's when people are eating comfort foods or working their way into
so an excess of anything is not good.
I think an excess of the healthy food would have to be a serious excess. You see what I mean? It's more commonly people eating things they shouldn't be, rather than the quantity.
Yes. So it's yes, of course. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with that, because here's the thing: when it comes to sweet stuff, that's me. That's
45 minutes.
45 minutes. If you know, you know. So when it comes to sweet stuff, I'm really bad. Sarah, by the way, who's putting a few good comments on there, she makes some amazing biscuits and dates covered with chocolate, filled with chocolate, Biscoff kind of flavors, coconut flavors, like
Biscoff is a weakness of mine.
Toffee crisp type of flavors, Bounty flavors, like Big Majid dates covered with these, and they taste heavenly. I tell you what, every Ramadan I've been ordering from her quite regularly now, because and biscuits she makes a concoction like Eastern Western fusion, but they're amazing. So if I have a box of them, for example, there'll be a platter which will probably feed a family for a good few days. It won't last long in my house, because you're right, it's not the quantities, it's the quality there, but because the quality is so good, the quantity increases, the intake it increases for me. So I'm really bad like that, you know. They don't last long in my house, so maybe I shouldn't order as many. Maybe that's the solution.
It's about what you have available. If you know you get cravings or you get peckish quite often, because that's what we tell ourselves, isn't it? I'm just peckish. I'm just going to snack. I'm just snacking. If snacking is 2 packets of crisps, a chocolate bar, and some biscuits with a cup of tea, then that's obviously not good. But if those options are not in your cupboard or in your pantry, then what will you eat? You'll eat maybe fruit or I don't know, some kind of other snack.
Well, if the food you purchase in the first place is of good quality and healthy, then you'll have no choice but to eat that.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's not, then you're only going to eat what's in your kitchen cupboard, isn't it?
This is the problem. I think most people are like myself, are too weak to resist something that's right there.
Okay.
If I've got chocolate
I get that.
or confectionery available, sooner or later I'm going to eat it.
Okay.
Fizzy drinks.
Sooner or later, it's more sooner than later.
Well,
in my case.
Yeah, but
if it's chocolates and stuff.
If it's not there and it's not in my pantry and there's other alternatives, I'll be okay. It's got to be an extreme case where you think, no, I'm going out to the co-op to get junk food. I'm going to, have popcorn. I'm going to have chocolates. I'm going to have this stuff.
Do you think people are less fussed with the way they look right now in comparison to if they weren't in the lockdown? I know some people who have lost a lot of weight. Abid, who came on earlier, he's lost a lot of weight. There's another friend of mine who said she'd lost 4 stones during this lockdown. I'm like, wow.
That's almost
do you think
person.
Most other people, even media,
gone 2 ways.
Because Sarah says media plays a huge role in how both men and women should look.
Yeah.
And then we did a podcast on this, didn't we, about...
But the truth is, during this lockdown, one thing that we've learned is that somewhat come out of the equation. You've either become really conscious of first couple of days, like for example, Abid lost some weight. I'm assuming in the first few days he started to pick at stuff, snack a little bit more, and then he made this conscious decision to think, hang on, what am I doing? I'm not hungry, I'm bored, or something along those lines. And then he's set himself a plan, a target, and he's gone about it.
Well, he's hardly eaten anything during Ramadan. He was saying like he was hardly eating like full meals.
Yeah.
And he would have his protein shakes.
Yeah.
Or whatever else.
But there's something triggered. He's actioned a thought somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Now other people go down a different path.
Yeah.
In the sense that, well, there's no pressure. I'm not going to be seen by anyone. None of that. I'm stuck indoors. They won't know that they're bored, or they'll know that they're bored and they'll eat anyway. Snacks are such a common thing when people are bored at home.
Yeah, but the question is, what kind of snack do you have available to eat, isn't it? That's what it comes down to, doesn't it? If you don't have good, healthy food in the house, you're not going to eat good, healthy food.
And I think here lies the problem. This is the trick, is if you shop well, you'll eat well, you'll live well. Don't put it down to someone like me to walk into the kitchen, pass the crisps to the fruit bowl. It's not going to happen. And this is the issue with foodies. They like their flavors, they like their taste,
Yeah.
And that whole, what's the saying, man? A moment on the lips, but a year on the hips, or something like that. There's truth in it, but for that moment on the lips, that just, when it hits your taste buds, that's everything. And when you're bored and when you're craving and you're a little bit down,
you almost sound poetic, Ali.
That's a tough call.
I can see that passion and the
sparkle
in your eyes.
I'm coming to tears, man. I'm getting emotional.
Getting proper emotional about it. I can see.
But I think, you make a very good point. If you shop well and you've got the right things in your cupboard, you will adapt. Ramadan taught me, you taught me actually, funnily enough.
Okay.
medjool dates, chopped up, bit of fruit,
Yeah.
pour a bit of cream
Oh,
over 'em.
what a combo. What
Amazing.
a combination.
Who would have thought?
Mate, I tell you what, since I started eating that, I even want to eat it outside of Ramadan. So for those people who don't know about it, it's watermelon, fresh watermelon. We've got blueberries in there. We've got strawberries in there. And what else have we got? We've got dates in there. Dates.
Yeah.
Majul dates. They add the right texture.
That's the one. That's the one.
You drench them in some cream, double cream.
Yeah.
It's not double cream, it's not exactly healthy, but when you've been fasting the whole day, you can have a bit of a cheat in the evening.
Yeah.
And then you sprinkle it with nuts.
Yes.
And hazelnuts are really good with that as well. Hazelnuts and almonds and pistachios. Man, the taste, they are so, it quenches your thirst.
Yeah.
And they taste sweet and they taste really nice at the same time.
And it does hit a lot of spots. You know, you've got the sweet covered, you've got maybe the dairy aspect of the calcium. Not that we're thinking of that specifically, but it's healthy. There's fruit in there, there's dairy in there, there's cream in there. Obviously in moderation.
There's protein as well in there.
But you do well to overindulge in something like that.
Well, that's the point that Sarah makes as well, isn't it? You know, we actually don't need to eat that much food to feel satisfied. It's just drilled in our heads that we need to eat until we're full, and we have so much choice and quantities that we become spoiled and have, you know, accustomed to our bodies to eat so much more. So, you know, it's excess, isn't it? We just have excess and want excess. Interesting, isn't it?
No, it's a very good point. I think eating something that you enjoy helps in the sense that you're not going to crave too soon after a meal. If you've enjoyed a meal, you can stop short, which you should stop short of your full.
Yeah.
But at least you've enjoyed it. You're somewhat satisfied.
Let me ask you a question. You've got the time of breaking fast, which is roughly around, well, almost close to 9:30 right now. And then you got the time of starting your fast, which is, what time did you start your fast? Which ruling did you follow? The 18 degrees rule? About 1:30 to, let's just say 2 o'clock, yeah? So let's just say from average 9 till 2, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 5 hours.
5 hours.
So within those 5 hours.
Way too long to count that.
Well, I'm not Musa. I'm not my son. He's like, in those 5 hours, how much could people generally eat? I know people who would have the breaking of fast meal, like a proper meal, like kebabs and samosas and stuff like that. By the way, I've only had doner kebab once, I think, in the last 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. And I was thinking about that myself, thinking, wow, because there's been this thing in my mind. Anyway, going back to the question, in those 5 hours, when you've been fasting the whole day, how many meals would the average person eat during Ramadan? I know people who'll have a meal then, and they'll even have like churi and parathe and stuff in the morning for suhoor.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, man, where'd you put it? If I have a meal at iftar time,
it's one or the other.
It's one or the other, yeah.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
It's usually the first one.
My preference is the other way around. So at iftar time, at the time to open fast, I'll be busy through it. So I'll have a bit of fruit, I'll pick up fruit, I'll have lots of water, but generally I won't eat at 9:30, partly because of my work timing and everything else. Okay. Now, by the time I get home, it's about 11 o'clock. I'll have a little something then, you know? But then at suhoor time, it's a conscious decision to think, I'm not going to eat for 16 hours, 18 hours now. Yeah. So I'm going to try and eat well.
Okay.
I'm not going to eat anything that's going to make me dehydrated, dry out my mouth, you know, upset the stomach, those kind of things. So I'm trying to eat consciously healthy because I know that's the last fill I'm going to get for a long time.
Okay. Okay. Parting advice or words then, or thoughts. We're not in the position to give advice to anyone, but parting thoughts. For me, food is fuel. I don't understand it in any other way. I understand enjoying food and a certain cuisine of certain new flavors and tastes. You taste something new. Look, I'll go to different countries and I'll try the different sweet dishes if I'm already there, but I don't go specifically to places to try the food. That's me. That's just me personally, right? If they're a group of people, friends, as a company, yeah, you know, go and have a chit chat, have a chill out, have a catch up over some nice food is always nice. If the food isn't like up to scratch, it's okay. I've had my fill. I might give my feedback to them, but it won't ruin my day. the opposite is people who really enjoy their food, they really love what they eat, and they get frustrated if it's not made to their liking, and it does ruin their mood. Should food impact you so much that that it ruins your mood? Because if it ruins your mood, you could be ruining other people's mood, like your
I think that's a bit of an
people
extreme
around you.
case. Look, for me, a bad meal would ruin an evening out. The company's still there, you're still, enjoying your time and everything, but if we've not enjoyed the food, we're a little bit gutted, we'll remember it. And the funny thing is, I think
You make it sound like an enemy. We'll remember this.
You don't do them things, man.
We'll remember this. You make it, honestly, you make it sound like scary.
I'll probably remember bad meals more than I remember good ones.
Well, that's the case with anything, isn't it? When they say people usually leave reviews more often if they've had a bad experience than when they've had a good experience.
Look, I've worked in the food industry for a long time.
Yeah.
Different aspects of it, from production and service to everything. This is very much true. You can have a customer who will have 30, 40 orders from you, and they've got good service and they're happy, and they come back. You upset them once, you'll hear about it. And that's heartbreaking, because I want to say to see this person in front of me, and I want to put my hands on the shoulders and say, bruh, we've served you 47 times. I've got the data stats here. Never heard from you. The only thing I hear is you order every few days, so I know you're enjoying something.
Yeah.
The one time we've made a mistake, we've put a wrong topping on, or whatever's happened, the whole world hears about it. Food was late, this happened, that happened. And that shows that there is a connection. You know what? That's more than just food to that person. It's an experience. There you go, one step ahead. But it is an experience, and you don't want to ruin that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely an experience. There's a difference between ordering to eat something at home, and going out to eat as well.
Yeah.
When you go out, you go for the whole experience.
Yes.
I'm wondering, if you go out to eat, if the venue is nice, the customer service is nice, the food isn't quite to that right quality that you want it.
Yeah.
But the general experience was good. Compare that with ordering food from the same venue to be delivered to your house. You're in your own house anyway, but it's the same quality that you would have got in the shop or the restaurant or whatever it was, on site. Which would you notice more?
See, good service counts for a lot. The presentation counts for a lot. The decor, these things, they can lift a meal or an experience. So if the food is mediocre, but the service was fantastic, and the decor is to your liking, and you've really kind of enjoyed the setting, it lifts the experience.
Sure.
If you take out the decor and take everything out, and you just have the mediocre food, you're going to pick up on the shortfalls a bit more. This is the life of a foodie, isn't it?
The life of the foodie. So our next episode is going to be somewhat controversial, some might think. Someone once said to me, men have gone soft.
Okay, someone says that to me every day. Usually my wife. But okay.
Anyway, there might be kids watching. So if that's a general perception of somebody who said, men have gone soft, then I wonder what other forms of the gender roles which were perceived to be different in the past, have evolved into what they've evolved into now. So the question
continue to evolve.
Genders themselves continue to evolve in the way they're being recognized by certain communities.
This is controversial.
Yeah, it is controversial.
I don't mind airing my views on genders, because I don't think genders have evolved. Okay, but yes, you're right. We'll come to that.
So next week, on Tuesday at 6 o'clock, make sure to tune in. Thanks everybody, those of you who have tuned in and listened and watched to this particular episode. Hopefully next week we will be having a bit of a fiery session by the sounds of it, but it's certainly going to be, it might raise a few eyebrows. It might get people talking. So,
Well, as it should.
yeah, we're having a discussion. Why not?
That subject is wide open.
What are your thoughts on gender roles? Have gender roles evolved? Have they devolved? Have they become somewhat mixed and unrecognizable to a certain degree? And where does it go from here? What are the positives and negatives surrounding that? Interesting topic, and it'll be interesting to get people's views on it. So until then, have a good one.
Hasta la vista.